Hi, welcome to today's video. I'm in a new space today, and for me it kind of feels like the first video of the year. I moved house last week, like last weekend, and that's why there wasn't a video. I was going to try and like film something in advance, but our old house was just absolutely chaotic, and I kept up with writing in my books, but only on a very kind of practical level, minimal level. I didn't really get to spend much time with my books in the way that I enjoy doing. And that meant as well, you know, kind of as a knock-on effect, that there wouldn't have been masses to show you. As it is, there are some blank spaces that I'm going to be filling in over the coming days. One thing as well, just to note about the fact that I'm in a new space, is I'm not too sure yet exactly what the sound's going to be like and what the light situation's going to be like. I am by a window, but it's January and it's the UK and it's very grey, so hopefully this will be all right. And also I'm in a different size room with different furniture in. I think I might be echoing slightly, so as time goes on, I'd hope that that improves. Also, location wise, there's generally like less traffic where I am, but there is other sounds, so we'll go through this journey together, getting used to the noises and the new environment. So I'm supposed to introduce the books a bit more formally. I've spoken about my books for 2025 a little bit in the run up to the year, but then this is going to be my first time really showing you how I've been using the books in these first couple of weeks of January. So the books that I am working in this year, you know, I intend to stay in pretty much the same setup for the year, but we'll see how we go. My main book is a Hobonichi A5. It's the Gingham Paper Series edition. And then I'm also working in currently it's a Muji A6 book, but this book will be, it's like my scrappy everyday notes. So just as and when I fill this up, this will change through the year. I'll show you the A6 first, and then we'll move on to the Hon. The Hon is the, I'd sort of think of it as the main event, but I feel like sometimes it's nice to see practical journaling spaces and planning spaces as well. Okay, so I'll just sort of talk through, I suppose in a fair bit of detail, because I don't remember, to be honest with you, how much of this sort of setup I've shown you. So I've got the Muji A6 book in one of my Hobonichi A6 covers, and this was one of the ones that I used a lot last year. I had this one, and I had a Have a Nice Day one, which is just in a box under the table. I'm using this one at the minute because, you know, this notebook doesn't have pockets in it, doesn't have pen loop, that kind of thing. So it just helps keep everything tidy and together when I like throw this in a bag. So we've got a few dot stickers at the back here because I do have a bit of a key system going. I've got these gold discs, which are more of like a decorative thing. I've got a card from a Skull Panda figure that I just like, and then I've got a couple of business cards here, like loyalty things, loyalty cards from some like local shops. And then I've done a little bit of decoration on the A6 as well. So this picture here is just one that I found, I think probably on Tumblr, and it's like a like traditional, I'm not sure, Icelandic, I think, house with like a moss roof on it and things, and it's just like very peaceful and isolated. And I'm not a complete hermit, but I think particularly after the hustle and bustle of like Christmas and the stress and everything that goes with that, and with kind of our moving situation and how chaotic that's been, the idea of like a peaceful hut in an isolated place was just really appealing to me. So I think I've initially just tacked this down with some washi tape, and then I'm using this big paper clip to sort of help secure it. And then a few weeks later, I added this sticker in. For Christmas, I received this huge book. It won't even fit all in the frame, which has loads of stickers in that features like artwork from different artists. I think this was something that Joe and Elle, so Joe of This Joe Journals and Elle of the Common Corner, I think they may have mentioned this book. And it, yeah, got me looking at it, and then I asked for it for Christmas. And the sticker, the black and white sticker there, is one of these. I'm just trying to find the page so I can credit the artist. Wallace Berman. And Wallace's pieces that are in here, they're all like someone holding, I think it's like a matchbook or something, but then the cover of the matchbook has all sorts of different images. So like we've got one here of a doll, an aeroplane, a skeleton, loads of different things. And this one is a skull and some hands. And then just a little Megan Rhiannon star here just to accent things. I have an inbox page that I've printed off from Megan just in here. So I mentioned just that I sort of colour code things. There is a bit of a organisation and system in this book. So this space really here is for like quick notes that haven't got like a page set up for them yet, quick to-do list sort of thing. So I've just got a little note there about applying for a bus pass. Oh, now I've got a sticker in here that's one of my stickers from my shop, which is a deer skull with a moth on the top. I put this in here because it was like a B grade, because there was some like peeling up here just where the cutting wasn't quite right, so I've included that. Sticker here, handled with care. This was just off a parcel I got, and I quite like using like stickers and I guess ephemera from posts that I've received as additional decoration. Got a key here, so chores and daily tasks, media related notes, art and illustration related notes, and then notes relating to notebooks and stationery, that sort of thing. And I've got an orange sticker down as well. I might add a category or more categories as time goes on, but I've not felt the need to yet. Little collage here just to make it a little bit more pretty. And then the vast majority of this is like my daily to-do lists. So I'll just flip through quickly, and then yeah, there's the odd bit of decoration just as and when there's been maybe like a spot for it, or it's been something relevant to the day. Like this, for instance, this is a sticker off a parcel. And this is where we are at the minute. And then I've been primarily using my Uniball pen from Hobonichi from 2023. These are still going strong. Yeah, I'm primarily writing with this, and it writes so nicely on this paper. I feel like my handwriting is really nice with this paper. It's very smooth and, I was going to say silky, that's not quite right. Generally speaking, for the headings, I've been using 2 pens. I can't remember the specifics of this one, but I'm pretty sure it's a Penco pen. And I picked it up from, does it say here? Oh, okay, the sticker's covering it up. I picked it up from, I can't remember the name of the shop. I've just had to think for a minute and edited it out, and I still can't think. I'll put the name on the screen because I'll be able to look it up when I'm on my laptop. So yeah, that for like the black, and then one of my mild liners just to do the heading. Initially I was like, oh, you know, maybe I'll switch up the colour each week, that sort of thing. But I'm really going through a thing at the minute about aesthetically kind of like minimalism, monochrome kind of vibes. So like black, white, grey, but then maybe with like neutrals like wood and green for plants, and then just the odd pop of colour, like a splash of yellow, a splash of red. And I just feel like that has a really good thing. So, you know, like here we've got, you know, the white, the grey, the black, and then just the green there. I feel like it just makes things stand out really nicely. But that's a sidetrack. And then I think, yeah, I stained this with coffee or something, but like I say, it's my scrappy book. And then just at the back here, I've got a couple of other bits slid in. So this is just a 2025 overview, and I figured I'd like put a dot sticker on once the month was finished. Again, this is just stuck in with some washi tape because then I can transfer it to whichever book I go to next. I've got a business card from Megan. I think because I ordered with her like a bunch of times in the past, I just kind of have these floating around, and I tend to find that if for some reason like grabbing a pencil board is a touch more difficult, I will just kind of use it as a ruler. This is like a little pencil board thing I made for myself last year. I guess maybe it's getting a little ropey now, but it still does the job, and I like the pictures as well, so it's kind of like a nice thing to have in the bag. Got a trimmed down pencil board from Hobonichi, some stamps, and then also I received a book token for Christmas from one of my partner's family members. So I've got that in the back here in case I want to use it in person. Although I need to be careful because I've spilled something and stained that a little bit, but it will be okay. So yeah, I'll just pop these bits back and then we'll move to the hon. So my main book for the year, and the one that kind of like lives on my desk and I have it open like most of the time, like I say, is the A5 hon. I've got it in this like paper cover, which is made by somebody on Etsy called by Verona, and then I've just got a little stitch marker here as a bit of a charm for it. So just to, I guess, a bit of a flip through and show you essentially just how I've got on this year. So I did a little bit of decoration on this a couple of weeks ago. I've done a bit of printing today actually, and I think I'm gonna add to this / update it a little bit, just with a couple of other images that I find fit my vibe at the minute, fit my mood at the minute. So we've got a big picture here. This is a Yoshitomo Nara character that I think is really cute. And just as a side note, for people in London / people in the UK that might be interested, I found out this morning that there's going to be a Yoshitomo Nara exhibit down in London during the summer later this year. I am really keen to go to that, so if you're keen on it as well, I'll put like information about it in the description, because I really admire his work, like for I think probably since like the Tumblr era when it would come up. There's just something so interesting about these characters. But yeah, anyway, so we've got a bit of washi tape here, and then we've got some mushrooms, and this is a sticker by Plum Tree Illustration. I've got a few of her bigger stickers. I think mostly I've used them on the back of my Kobo. I'll just quickly show you that. So yeah, we've got the back of the Kobo here. This is a Megan sticker on my little pop socket thing, but we've got a Marigona Suli sticker here, and then these two are from Plum Tree Illustration. I picked these ones specifically for the Kobo because it felt very evocative of, yeah, like fantasy reading, that kind of thing. This one says a dark fairy tale on it, so that's fun. Okay, cool. Let's get into the book. So I've got this everyday pocket from Hobonichi here, and I keep a gloomy in here. I tend to switch it up every few days. So until, I think it was until yesterday, I had where is it? Okay, I have this one in here that says sometimes things change, whether expected or unexpected. I would try to be brave, etc. And the person's surrounded by boxes, so I've just moved house, and autistically, obviously that's a big change. I'm still trying to adjust and get used to things. So that was a good one to have the last few weeks. And then I just decided to change it up a little bit. I have a pair of skeleton pyjamas that are probably like some of my favourites, and I always think of that when I see this. So now I'm like shifting into comfy, cosy, engaging with my interests sort of mentality. So that's why I've put this one here. I really like highly decorated books, but I'm trying to sort of pace myself with things. And I also feel like for my brain, if I look at this and I've just got like one focal point, it's far less like overstimulating. I think something that I'm trying to like get used to and implement is I can like and appreciate something when someone else does it, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's right for me and I have to kind of have a boundary with myself not to just get like too carried away with certain things, because if I like plastered stickers all over this straight away, I'd probably find it a bit too much and want to change or want to like strip it back at some point. That being said, I've got a bit more going on these couple of pages. Let's just move that. But I think this is glued in, but I think this is all put in with washi tape. So as long as I'm careful, I'll be able to peel it back up. On the left hand side here, we've got a 2025 summoning square. So this is something that Megan shared, I think, with her patrons. And it's a lovely illustration. It's a great way to have sort of more of her work in my book. But it's a nice little thing of, I don't do resolutions as such. I don't like the pressure of it. I'm also my own worst critic. So if I fail at something, and if that happens like kind of early in the year, part of me writes off like an entire year, which sounds like over dramatic maybe, but I am very black and white with my thinking a lot of the time. So the idea of, okay, what do I want to maybe like make sure I do, what are good habits for me to have, and also like what's achievable, I think is a more sensible way. So this is just like a very cute way of setting that information out. So just for anybody who might be interested, I've got a few things on here. So I've got Halloween activity. So that's my favourite time of year. I always like to make sure I do something. I'm not someone, I went to like a scare night a few years ago, and I didn't like the actual like scary houses things and the walking around and the actors jumping out at you. It wasn't that it was scary, but I hate like the performance of it, and everything feels very manufactured and fake. And I don't know, like for example, I really struggle with like theme parks and Disneyland and things like that as well. So it's the same, I get the same vibe. The thing I liked best about that was when we all sat by a bonfire and had a drink and a mooch around like the stalls that were there. That was my favourite bit. So Halloween activity, but something that like suits how I operate, I think is what I'm getting at here. The next one I've got here, and I've got a star over it, is to move house, because I was like, at the time I wrote this up, I was like 99% sure that was going to happen, but I just didn't know the details around it. So it was a way to try and make it less of a stressful experience and more of something that I could mark off as an achievement. Visit the seaside. There is an event that my partner are going to in the summer, which we booked shortly after this, which means I'm almost definitely going to achieve that. Paint on canvas. So I am an artist and I have an art shop. Primarily I work digitally, but I find physically painting a really great activity just for my brain. 9 times out of 10, anything that I put on like physical paper or on a canvas, I don't like the look of at the end of it, but I get a hell of a lot out of the process. So that's there to try and like push me to do that. Something else that's really helped as well is the space that I'm in today and now is much bigger than the room that I used to film from, and that was also like my little, I'd call it an art studio, but it's a box room, you know, but it's bigger than my previous one, and I've actually got my canvases like leaning against the wall behind me, and I've got my paintbrushes and stuff like really easy to access, so I feel like everything will just like flow a bit easier. Complete a sketchbook. So similar sort of thing again in terms of my art practice. I mostly work digital. I've got like 3 or 4 sketchbooks kind of on the go for slightly different purposes, and I just like the idea of finishing one of them in some way. I also have a habit, as well as I have a habit that I've mentioned before of like collecting notebooks when I don't necessarily need a new one. I'm pretty similar when it comes to sketchbooks, although I've like chilled out on that a bit lately. So it would be good to complete one, so then I can start one of the ones that I've kind of got buried away. The next one I've got here, which I've got to start over, is an art gallery trip. I thought this would be something that might take me like a few weeks or months to achieve. but actually I went to an art gallery last week, art gallery / museum. It was in Derby. They've got a bunch of natural history stuff in there, which was, it really, yeah, got the tingly feelings going. Really interesting stuff, and some really well-informed volunteers as well. They were really nice. A new job, because I left like traditional employment at the end of February last year. My aim was to try and recover from autistic burnout, to set up my own art business, which is now like up and running. And I think it's getting to the right time for me to look at like rejoining the workforce. And then a walk in some woodland, because that's my favourite place to be. So if I don't do that in a whole year, I'll be absolutely kicking myself, because that's like that's the best medicine for me, is a walk in the woods. So I need to make sure I do that. And then I've got a nice little bit of decoration here. I think I might have shown you this in a previous video. I've got like an old envelope that I've cut up, a Yoshitomo Nara character, a sticker from my sibling. This letter A here is from another book that I got for Christmas. So this is from the Ransom Note sticker book. I actually received 2 copies of these for Christmas, so I've got plenty to go at. Yeah, so just put the letter A there for Alex. And then we get into the actual like meat of things. So we've got the Calendex pages. This is very much a practical space for me. I'm using this as a key for what I'm commonplacing about. So for example, 1st of January is the Eames house, and I've drawn a line and then a dot until the page when that finishes. I've got, you know, tarot card correspondences and meanings for the next section. Then I've got quotes from a book. Then I've got my January Virgo tarot reading, and so on and so forth. And where entries are just 1 page long, it's just a dot that I've got there to help demonstrate that. I don't necessarily reference this much, or I haven't so far, but I feel like the further I get into in the year, that's when I might want to look back and think, oh, okay, where's my quotes from this particular book? Oh, there they are. Or for instance, the tarot information for the month, when it comes to the end of January, I'd like to have a look back at that. So it would just be a good index page for me, or contents page, I guess you could, more of a contents page because it's at the beginning. So this is my December calendar. Turned out really nice, very happy with it. Kind of busy, but I think that's just because it was a busy month. We've got January so far. For some reason I was just thought, why am I saying January so far? It's February, but it's not February. It is still only January. I'm just going to put the time in here. That is missing. I think this is maybe a bit messy, but I think this is largely because, you know, we're viewing houses like mad at the beginning of the month, and then we viewed the house that I'm now living in on the 7th, and we'd booked some in the following days, but then those were naturally cancelled. And then, yeah, I've got a few appointments and things being booked in. I've just realised I've not written some information here. And my mood tracker, 23. Normally, I don't know if you can see, yeah, normally these lines for the mood tracker I don't draw in until the end of the month, but because I was having a difficult time with adjusting and the moving and everything, I just wanted to see how much time I had spent in this like negative end of the scale, and doing the lines helped me visualize that. So I've done that, and I'll probably just do the rest at the end of the month. We've got a quote here. We've got tasks that I need to remember to do. Top one here that's not been done is my kofi reward, but I have designed it. I just need to kind of do the Instagram post letting people know about it and stuff. And then I've got some media releases down here as well, because I think that'll be a nice thing to include as and when I've got space. So I've got Nosferatu coming out on the 1st, and then Here came out on the 15th, that me and my partner were interested in maybe seeing that as well. Not very much decoration on the pages itself, because a lot of the dates have information in, but I think maybe when we get to the tail end of this week, I'll be able to do a couple of bits. The things I've got in here, so I've got this like bear vampire on the 4th because we went to see Nosferatu and obviously you got a vampire in it. And then the 5th we've got this snowman from Megan because it snowed on that day. And I put these down in advance, but I've got a few snowflakes here, so that worked out nicely. Done a bit of decoration ready for February. I think I may have shown this in a previous video. I've forgotten more information here. I put my dot in, but I've not actually put the information for what the dot related to. I really like this decoration. I mentioned earlier about the kind of the minimalist thing. So we've got black and white and then some hints of red here. So I'll just talk you through the deco quickly. This is a Killer Views sticker, the snake is. These paper clips are from Olive and Mabel Co. from the collaboration they did with Brontë. I've got another one down here. This airmail one is a Megan Rhiannon sticker. I think it was part of a Christmas set, but I feel like it's broad enough that you could use it any time of the year, really. The washi, I think's from my stationery pal. Like, they do a bunch of just standard grid ones that are my go-to washi tapes. Some soot sprites here. My friend went to Japan last year, I think in September it was, and he brought me back a few bits of stationery. He brought me some Studio Ghibli related stickers and some Animal Crossing stickers as well, so those are dotted throughout. The February is a Megan one, and then these cherries at the bottom are from one of my sticker sheets. It's from a sticker sheet called Summer Sticker Sheets, because it's got a few bits of fruit and things like that, but I was actually seeing other people use it at different times of year that kind of unlocked in my head the fact that I could use it at different times of the year. Like I think Elle had used some, and Georgia from George Journals. I was like, oh yeah, like who says cherries can only be, in my pages during, June to August, for instance. So those are there, and it helps tie in with the red as well, I think. I've not decorated for March yet. And then we get on to the weekly spreads. So I feel like these are going to be a bit of a space that looks quite different week in, week out in some ways, but also like consistent at the same time. So that doesn't make any sense, but the structure roughly I'm going for is splitting the page in half, having the top half roughly as a guide of what is on that week, and then the bottom for me is some tracking, and then I've got like a to-do list on the left hand side, and then I've decorated as and when. This decoration is all a bit messy, a bit higgledy-piggledy. It's all right. It's quite nice to look on it. Like, I already feel like quite warm, I guess, seeing it. But that's a good thing about, journaling practices, is that they evolve, don't they? So you can see the same general format here. I decided to add these big numbers in that I got from Flying Tiger, because I knew I didn't have lots to fill this space in. So the fact that it's taking up like a good few rows isn't bad. And because they're mostly blues and purples and greens, they went really nicely with the decoration that I picked for this middle section. But this is when we had all these house viewings and stuff, and it was a bit wild, and I've not stuck much down. I might go back in here and just add some little bits of decoration, I'm not sure. I feel like it's a truer representation of the time if I leave it alone, but then a big part of why I do do journaling and stuff is to decorate and to make things pretty. So I can always come back at a later date and do that. Here we are with, the black and white sort of tape, washi tape again. I've used some of those ransom note stickers for indicating the days when we were moving house. We've moved to a different part of the country, so it ended up being that we had movers helping us, but then also like we've had to go back and clean and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's been like a multi-day process. It's still technically like going on, but we are where we are. I'm just gonna do something here that's gonna make my life a little bit easier. Okay, yeah, I'd stuck that across the page and it was like pulling at the pages, so slicing it has just helped. Similar sort of vein, this whole week was just trying to pack, trying to like call utility providers to tell them we were moving house and stuff like that. There weren't many like appointments in, and we weren't seeing friends except for my friend that helped us move house. So what I did once I was like at this house and had a bit of a table set up going on, I was like, God, I've got this huge like void, I've got this huge space. So that artist's sticker book that I mentioned before, the orange one, I went in here again and I picked out a sticker that I thought, you know, it's black and white, it goes nicely with the space, but also it's occupying quite a lot of space here. Just see if I can grab you the artist name. Just good to credit people when you can, isn't it? I've also got to be a little bit careful flicking through this because some of the images are not safe for work. So the artist is Shirin Nashat. Yeah, some of the images in here are not safe for work and I don't think YouTube would like them. So that's to help fill that space. And then we've got this week, which again, looking a little blank. I've put a couple of, you know, got a couple more things dotted about, but like tail end of the week's looking quite empty. So I might do some sort of collage or something here. It might be quite a nice opportunity to sit and use the space creatively. So yeah, I've got the to-do lists each week. I'm using slightly different stickers week in, week out, just to go with, you know, whatever the mood is, I suppose. The numbers at the top here have been from More Kunst. We've got some more of the ransom note stickers here. That's what this hand holding a pen is as well. Got some Megan stickers here for my media tracking. That's the other thing. So just to clarify, I guess, with the tracking, here I've got daily habits and weekly habits. I've got health stuff. So I like to keep an eye on, so like my traits in terms of my autistic traits, and then also like main symptoms I experience with my chronic health problems. I like to try and keep an eye on it just to see like how bad things have been, and then like say if things have been really bad and it's Saturday and I feel in my body that I need rest, but I'm giving myself grief for it and say, no, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. I can look at it and be like, no, you've really been struggling, take the rest. So it's a good thing for that. And then some media tracking on the side as well, just because I like to look back and think, oh, when was it I last watched that show? There's some more media stuff later on because I really enjoy it. But it's nice having just a very like concise way of looking at it. And I feel like, yeah, seeing it in like weekly cycles is nice. And then I've done a bit of decoration for next week. I've gone with a purple lilac kind of vibe with some plant life in here. So we've got the More Kunst numbers at the top. This to-do sticker is one that I got as part of quite a big set from Flying Tiger. We've got just a plain grey washi here. This was from Paper Chase, back when they were operational. We've got a couple of Marigona Suli stickers here. This sticker here of the terrarium is one that I got as part of the Sticky Club Midnight Tarot set last year. Got a Megan sticker here, and then this star is also an old Paper Chase one. Next week so far is looking quite clear. I just, you know, put my sort of therapy appointment in there because I knew that was coming up. As and when more stuff goes in, I'll update it. And then I've got my trackers here ready. Although I've not done the media stuff yet, I might just quickly do that. I'm just going to write it in by hand rather than using the stickers, I think. Watching, reading, listening and playing. Just for that little bit of underlining this week, which to be fair is probably so subtle you can't see it on the camera, but it's a Zig clean dot sticker, and most of mine have just got the dot, but I've got I think this one and my black one, which also have this very fine tip on it as well, which is great for underlining stuff without it being too in your face. So it's weird. Like, generally, my vibe at the minute is more, I guess this is what I'm feeling. But I think I was just looking through my folder of stickers, and I'm always conscious that this column here is always empty. You can see here it's empty, and there. And again, I might backfill these to an extent, but I like the idea, like I have in this first week, of bringing something down into this space a little. Came across this sticker, and then that just sort of, the rest sort of just flow from there. I've not done the following week, so something I might film in the next few days is a bit of a decorate with me, and I might like do a few of these in advance, and just try and like, yeah, get different colour schemes going and things like that. I find doing that a really like calming and regulating thing. Like normally my go-to is writing commonplace stuff, but if I've not quite got the brain power for that, or, you know, sometimes even if you're really interested in something, the information just isn't sinking in. Doing this sort of decoration and just making stuff cute is fun. And then let's go to the daily pages. So let's go to the beginning of the year, start from the beginning. And I'll just chuck this back here. So I think I updated this since I last showed it. So I made a mood board for the year with the kind of vibes that I wanted and the themes that I wanted through the year. And then I've added some bits of decoration in it as well. So we've got some of my ransom note stickers, got the Stay Positive sticker from Killer Views, smiley faces, stars, plants, you get the gist. And then I've got a page here of quotes about New Year's and resolutions. And just like, yeah, the things that I try to bear in mind, and it's nice to have them to come back to. I've got a little black dot here because my commonplace system, the black dot is copied text, so that's what that is. So yeah, we've got these quotes and a little sticker here as well, just because there is a bit of odd space there, nothing else really fit. And then we've got a January mood board, so it's a little bit more tailored and specific. Again, I just go with my gut instinct on this, go with vibes. And I mentioned a little bit earlier about having more information about media in here, so I am using some of Megan's print-offs that are for like, I think they're for personal size rings setups. But what I do is I put 4 copies on an A4 sheet, and then they come out about this size. And it also makes it very easy to cut because I've just got to cut it in quarters. So I'm doing that for reading and for films and TV shows as well, and I'm just tipping them in with some washing. I'm using the single page ones. So what I've started doing on the back is like little collages that relate to the themes of the book or the show that I've watched. And then the daily pages, these are split. So the top half is for commonplace and the bottom half is my daily log of that particular day. My daily log of the day is probably the least interesting part. I think as I do this little flip through, I'll probably only mention those as and when something pertinent happens or there's a photo or something. I'll focus on the commonplace section. So I'm using the checkbox section at the top here to write the title in. And then I'm kind of being a bit free and easy about the layout. I'm kind of thinking about what images do I have? How can I make the best use of the space? So a bit fluid. So the first couple of pages here, I talk about the Eames house in California. And I suppose not ironic in a way. I don't think that's necessarily the right word. And I don't mean to say this in a making it about me way. But it was a few days after I wrote about this and was thinking a lot about the Eames house again. That the fires broke out in California, and the Eames house was one of the buildings that was at risk for a long time. And it was just one of those weird things where, like, had something happened, it would have felt weirdly ironic to write about it here and then potentially have to come back later and be like, this thing no longer exists, that I like think about quite frequently and really admire. So yeah, that was a bit of a strange thing, but I think I got thinking about the Eames house. I don't know if this is like boring or if anyone wants to know or hear about this, but with us moving house, I started thinking about how we would best make use of this new space, what I like in terms of interior design and aesthetics, what is achievable when you're renting, and when a property is not really yours, and really trying to get in touch with like what my taste and style are. At the old property, everything felt like a compromise. We've got more, well, we can't hang pictures up here, but it's a better like blank space. It's more of a modern property, and it just feels like we've got more room to breathe. So I was thinking broadly about light and plants and having our books on display, and it got me thinking about mid-century furniture. It got me thinking about Ray and Charles Eames, and this is one of my interests that I like bounce back to maybe every couple of years. I think it was, yeah, the last time I was really like in deep with this was when I was living in London, and I went to see some of their stuff at the Design Museum. So yeah, that's what these first couple of pages are about. Got a picture of them here. I've got a triangle here because there were some quotes from the Eameses about psychological needs when you're in a space, and the need for like physical safety, and then like, you know, spiritual fulfillment above that, etc. And that related then to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I was going to put the hierarchy of needs in, but I was conscious I had quite a lot going on these pages, so the triangle's enough to trigger the memory for me. If you're not familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'll just pop it on the screen. It's something that's been like turned into a meme. I quite enjoy it as a meme. But yeah, and then just a couple of decoration bits here. This was a sticker from a parcel that I had come in the post. My partner for Christmas got me, God, that was close, got me a mini printer. So last year, and I think the year before that, if ever I was putting my own pictures into my book, I would be using a thermal printer, and then within a few weeks that image would be fading and I'd be struggling to sort of read it. So I'd been eyeing up mini printers for 6+ months, and this was the one that I decided I wanted to go with, and my partner got it for me, which is really great. So this was my kind of like test of using it for the first time. And I'm really happy with like the colour and how everything comes out. I would say that the app is quite glitchy. I've got an Android phone, so it's quite glitchy, but the actual quality of the images themselves, once you've sorted everything out in the app, is really good. Hopefully they do some sort of update. The next sort of bit of commonplacing, I'll probably end up like flipping to and from just as the flow of what I'm talking about changes. I read a book called Winter Magic, A Witch's Yule, and it had a lot of information about Yule. A lot of it was stuff I was already aware of, but something I found quite helpful was it had a good breakdown of the correspondences for the different arcana within a tarot deck. I know this is always, you know, something I've read about quite a bit, always loosely aware of, but the way it was broken down and sort of put in a table format made it really digestible for me. So I decided to copy it out, and that's what I do over the course of a few pages. Because of the layout that I went with, it did, you know, take up quite a few pages, but I feel like it's very clear for me visually. It's still nice and easy to read. And then a lot of the decoration I've got around it is just, yeah, the vibe, you know. We've got a spell book here, we've got flowers here, all that kind of good stuff. If you want any more details about like where bits of decoration are from, just drop me a message. But I feel like if I did everything in loads of detail, this video would end up much longer. Daily log, this was the Nosferatu day, and my friend started doing more like scrapbooking and journaling recently. So she always books our tickets because she's got like a loyalty card thing, and she made a point of asking for a physical ticket because she wants to put it in her scrapbook. So she handed mine to me because she's like, I know you'll want to use this as well. And then we've got my little film review of Nosferatu, and then the little collage on the back as well, featuring this piece, this illustration. I believe the artist is Albert Victoria. Really like their style. And this was, yeah, this is great. I love the colours in it and everything. The next day, we've got another use of my Kodak printer, just to show the snow on this particular day. This is out the front room of the old house, but I don't live there anymore, so I don't need to worry so much about doxing myself. I like how I've got the frame on this one. This one was just like straight up as it was. I like the frame better. It's a bit fiddly to do though. Next daily page, we've just got our car parking ticket thing. There's nothing particular about it. It doesn't evoke memories as such. Oh, this sticker's so annoying. I'm going to have to... Actually, I'll just grab a bit of washi. Sometimes I sort of forget that you can layer washi on top of stuff and it would it adds to the look a bit. Particularly, like I've just grabbed this sort of semi-transparent one, which adds some nice texture. Okay, but I've got a coffee there because I went and grabbed a coffee when we were parked up in town. And then here, and you'll sort of see this today, I've created a new little intro thing and a new outro for these videos, and I was quite pleased with how they came about, and I want to document my creative work in here more, so I just tabbed that in and made some notes on the back about it. This was a much more plain normal day. Got bits of decoration in here for these couple of days. Yeah, I've got a backpack in here because we were packing up to leave. We've got a granny square here because I was packing up a lot of clothes. Here we had, I think this was like my last coffee from my coffee machine before I packed it up, so I've including this here. Got a quote here from that winter book, and I've included this snippet from a painting because it's got like the laurel leaves and stuff, which kind of made me think about like holly and ivy and that sort of thing, and the little candle here as well for sort of that festive period. This is maybe a little bit messy. I might figure out a better way of doing this, but my partner and I rewatched the first 3 seasons of Any Murders in the Building. That seems to be a bit of like a New Year's / January tradition for us, so that was fun. And I've just remembered there's a lot of things here that are like works in progress and not quite finished yet, so I'll be dotting things in from time to time. We watched Man on the Inside. This also got me thinking about mid-century furniture because the main character, Charles, has a gorgeous house, and if America had a different president and I had more money, blah blah blah, and I could move to that house tomorrow, I would. It's just stunning. I've got a picture of it here printed to add in a later page, but I've also got a picture of, you know, like the poster for the show just to pop in here, so that'll be added at a later date. I've got a ghost sticker here, but I can't quite think why I've used it. Never mind. Got some deco here explaining how sleepy I am because we're in the midst of all the packing nonsense. We watched a film called The Linda McCartney Story. It wasn't good. I've got to put the picture in just here, and I've got a bit blank space here for a bit of a collage. So I didn't like the film, but I really like Linda, so I've got some of her photography and stuff to stick on the back here. I've got a quote from John Keats here. Pretty standard daily entry. Quite a few of the daily entries across these next few days are more minimal because rather than me sitting at my desk and doing it and having my stickers on hand and everything, I'm like scrunched up on the sofa because we're surrounded by boxes. Commonplace wise, I've got a bit of commonplacing here about Boy Genius and their vinyl, their album called The Record. Obviously it came out I think last year, wasn't it? And I was loving it, obsessed with it for months and months. Came away from it a little bit, and then I've started listening to it again a lot the last few weeks. I might buy the vinyl tomorrow actually, because I can't describe I mean, I describe it a little bit here, but I struggle to describe just how much I love that album. So yeah, I've got a bit of stuff about them here. Got some daily entries here. I've got pictures stuck in of like a nice living room here, just because I was looking forward to and anticipating having that comfort again, and being in a nice environment again. Normal daily entries. We've got a reading log for a book that I read. Just dot that. Yeah, I read The Reason I Jump. Again, this is blank, and I've got a bit of a sort of collage thing to put on here. Got a couple of sticker bits. So this is the day we collected our keys for the new house. So that's why that's there. Oops. Moving day. I didn't write on this day. I start off by saying I'm catching up the next evening. Got a picture of me holding up the keys in the doorway of this room, and a sticker that one of my siblings got me, which is a very like frazzled, exhausted looking cat in a box, which was me on this day. We've got ghost sticker here from Megan and a couple of other others here, and I put this here because in my office I have a little collection of ghost figurines, and they've been packed up for a good while now, and I unpacked them and put them sort of roughly where they're going to live for the time being. And it was unpacking that kind of made me start feeling a bit more regulated and like comfortable in this space, and thinking like, oh, okay, like this is, they're a big like comfort item and collection for me. So yeah, that's there for them. Decoration wise, we've got a shelf here with like potions and things on. This was just because like, you know, I was tidying and organising a lot, so the vibe was there. Got this little collage here with the UFO. I think I described this collage on Instagram as being the vibe of what the hell is going on this planet, get me out of here. But then I wanted to like kind of make it a bit cutesy as well. And then we got yesterday. So yesterday I had a delivery from the Cozy Book Company. I bought 2 book sleeves from him. I'd actually ordered them before Christmas and before we were going to move, but because then we were moving house but I didn't know when, I spoke to, I can't remember his name, but I spoke to the guy that his shop it is, and he was very understanding, so he let me cancel the order. And then once I knew that we were moving to this house, I reordered. If anyone is interested, I bought 2 sleeves. So I've got this one with like phantoms on, and then I've got this one with like sort of what's the word, is it the damask, that's it, the sort of damask pattern with the skulls on. And this one's got my Kobo in it in a minute, and I had initially planned to try and put my A5 in here, but it's just too thick, it just will not fit in. So I think future years, you know, if I go for like the Avec or something, it'll be perfect for that. But in the meantime, it's just going to be helpful for when I do take a physical book out and about. So, you know, the purpose it was designed for, like this is the physical book I'm reading at the minute, and that fits in with plenty of space. So it'd be good for that sort of situation. But also when it comes to my everyday out and about book, if, I don't know, it was really rainy or something and I wanted that extra level of protection for this, I can slip this in here too. So I'm still going to absolutely be able to make use of it. I really like these phantoms. I was like umming and ahhing about it when I saw the picture online, but it's solid. And I think what I really wanted was for the 2 to go well together also, and I really think they do. So yeah, as part of that order, I've the little business card thing I cut out around the logo. Nick, that's his name, I think. He threw in with each of the items a freebie sticker and a freebie bookmark, and this was one of the stickers. And obviously it's cats on a book, so it felt pertinent. And then I've just added a little paper chase star there. So you can see there's quite a lot of blank space on these pages. And that's because with us moving and everything like that, I've just not had the chance to commonplace everything that I want to commonplace about. I've actually got a list in this book of what I want to write about. I'm pretty sure I can remember it all, but it's good to have that reminder. So hopefully, depending on how long it takes me to edit this video, hopefully I'll be able to get on with a bit of that today. And I feel like the more I do that sort of stuff, the more I'm going to feel settled here. It's just such a integral practice for, I think for me, like processing information, to be honest. I've done it for years and years on and off in different sort of formats, but now I'm at a place where I feel like I'd be really quite lost without this journaling and commonplace practice. I think that's one thing that the moving house, moving to a different area of the country, etc., has really hammered home for me. The planning side I was able to upkeep basically, but commonplace stuff just went out the window, and I really felt it, and I'm continuing to feel it. So hopefully by like this time next week or something, I'll feel a bit more myself again. Yeah, that's like the emotional side of things. I feel like I've rabbited on at you quite a lot today. Hopefully the noise outside hasn't been too bad. I've tried to edit it out where I can. Oh, let's pop this back in as well. So yeah, that's the books so far this year. I hope you found that interesting. I've really enjoyed talking to you again and sitting down and having my candle on, having my drink at the side of me. Let's hope and manifest that we can have as much peace and normality as possible. That's what I'm aiming for. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.